Well, let's give you an idea of just why this is proving to be so very difficult. Firstly, where is the cave complex in Thailand, where all of these children and their coach are? Well, it's in the Chiang Rai district of Thailand. This is where these operations are taking place, in a cave complex over there. Let's bring you details about why this is proving to be very, very difficult. And one hopes that by the end of the day, that's after about 8 p.m. IST, there may be some good news about getting some of these kids out. Well, this is a rough idea of the structure of the cave, the part of the cave. Now, this is more than 4 kilometers actually where the children are located. This is where the children were found. So let us assume that this is the starting point. Divers have been coming over here. They've been assisted by divers, but these kids, many of them don't even know how to swim. So diving actually is going to be very difficult. They've been trained to dive. Now, it takes several days to learn to dive, but they've been trained to dive, wear a mask, wear a full face mask, and perhaps even have access to tanks on their back, or perhaps through one of the divers leading them out. And then they're going to have to get into the water, and they're going to have to navigate this extremely difficult, narrow passage over here. The passage is so narrow that in many places the divers, the rescue divers, are not even wearing flippers, and the children perhaps won't have them. They'll be guided by these divers. Remember, these children have never been in water, in a diving situation before, and then they're going to have to navigate turns or bends in the cave like this, and the diameter of the cave lessens in all areas. Now, this area has been called the choke point. There is one part over here which is called the choke point, where they're going to have to swim upwards till they hit this choke point. Now, what is this choke point? It is a part which is only 15 inches broad. So they're going to have to swim up and get to the next safe area where there's a little bit of dry land over here by navigating this 15-inch choke point. This is going to be very difficult. These children will have helmets and they'll have full face masks. Now, I can tell you that as a diver, when you're learning to dive, it's not very easy to be wearing this. It's very uncomfortable. And in a situation like this, when you're not trained, to be doing something as difficult like this is going to be very, very risky. I think everybody is clear that there are risks involved. How is it actually going to happen? Well, this is an image of the rescue diver. They would be carrying the oxygen tanks with them, perhaps one on their back, one on their chest, and through this they would be connected through a tube to the full face mask of these children who would be scrambling up behind these divers. Now, each child has 2 divers, so one would assume that there would be a diver in the back to assist these children. A key point over here is visibility. This is not clear water at all. It is turbid water, muddy water. Visibility may not exist at all. You may not be able to see this far ahead of you. So for the children, having to deal with that scenario where you're in a narrow confined space, you have a diver in front of you, but you may not be able to see them. You're breathing through this apparatus. It's all very narrow. It's pitch dark, and you have to keep going. That makes this all very, very difficult. And perhaps the most intimidating aspect of all of this, just look at this. This was the entrance to the cave. Over here, this is where the children were found. The distance 4 kilometers. They are going to have to traverse 4 kilometers. The operation started at 10 a.m. local time. As I mentioned, it's going to be approximately 9:30 p.m. local time, and Thailand is ahead of us before the first child can emerge. Big question, will we see one of these rescued kids today, or towards the entrance there are areas which are safe? Will they be kept over there before they're eventually brought out? So there are lots of question marks at this stage.